welcome to Bad at Goodbyes. Each week on our show, we spotlight species from the IUCN Critically Endangered Red List. These are plants and animals with decreasing populations, nearing the edges of extinction. So we'll share species research, information, and conservation proposals, and then we'll spend the end of the show opening a space for contemplation and awe. We'll improvise a soundscape of gentleness, of reflection, of delight, and maybe of grieving. Without focused conservation activity and significant societal shift, many of these species may not survive the 21st century. And so perhaps we might acknowledge their journey with a moment of our attention, a recognition of our kinship, and with a commitment to personal and systemic change. Thank you for listening. On today's show, we consider the Albanian tulip. The Albanian tulip is a critically endangered flowering plant native to southeastern Europe on the Balkan Peninsula in Albania. The Albanian tulip is a perennial. Botanists generally categorize flowering species into these two broad categories which reflect their life cycle. So annual and perennial. Annuals complete their entire life cycle within a single growing season. So they sprout from seed, grow to reproductive maturity, flower, are pollinated, produce and release seeds, and die, all within 1 year's time. Perennials then live for at least 2 years, so growing, flowering, and reproducing in warmer months, and then going more dormant in colder months, above ground, so like the leaves and stems and flowers will wither, but the root system remains alive, and throughout the winter prepares to send up new growth come spring. During the cold months, perennials' metabolic processes like respiration and photosynthesis significantly slow down to conserve energy and resources. And though the roots do continue to absorb water and essential nutrients from the soil, the plant mainly relies on stored carbohydrates as a food source, and then later relying on those starches as fuel for new spring growth. For winter, the plant alters cell membrane composition and produces these antifreeze proteins to protect its cells from freezing damage. And the root's cells also keep water circulating, again, to prevent freezing. And though above ground growth is paused, root systems may continue to expand, exploring the soil for nutrients and further stabilizing the plant in the ground. So all this is to say that though it may not seem like it, As we look at like a bare patch of dirt, a lot of complex metabolic processes are going on beneath it so that perennial plants can survive the winter. Okay, so back to the Albanian tulip, which again is a perennial in the Tulipa genus of the lily family. Its stem grows to roughly a foot in height, with 3 to 5 skinny, waxy, grayish-green leaves, and a singular bell-shaped flower at the top. This flower blooms in 2 distinct possible colors, a really vibrant yellow or a deep scarlet. So individual plants are genetically coded at the time of fertilization to either be red and yellow, although they are still like the same species and reproductively compatible. This is called genetic polymorphism, and is not unlike eye color in humans, where the inheritance of eye color is determined by the dominant and recessive genes of one's parents. And persons of different eye color can successfully mate to produce viable offspring. In the case of the Albanian tulip, scientists hypothesize that pollinator preference may be a factor here. So different pollinators may be attracted to different flower colors. And so this has led to the genetic retention of both color forms, as they have been like comparably successful in terms of natural selection. The Albanian tulip's flower is large and showy. It has 6 petals with 6 stamen, and it's wildly beautiful. It blooms from late April to mid-May and is likely bee pollinated. Following fertilization, the Albanian tulip develops a dry capsule fruit that contains numerous seeds. The fruit dehisces, which means bursts open, by early July. These scattered seeds are small, flat, and greenish-brown, likely dispersed by wind and animal. In the dream, the twinned river spirits suggest we expand the metaphor. As spring is not just new growth, it is also a returning, a renewing, another chance. And a record, a testament to resilience. Winter, then, can be a tending to small secret busynesses, preparation, anticipation, to rest and make ready, to rest and make ready in the dream. The Albanian tulip is native to southeastern Europe, Balkan Peninsula, in northeast Albania, near the borders of Macedonia and Kosovo. Its habitat is on the Black Drin River in the Kukas region near the village of Suroy. This is a very mountainous region with over 1.5 miles high peaks and steep valleys carved by the Black Drin and White Drin rivers. And the Albanian tulip is found about halfway up in the lower elevations of the Gjelica Mountains. This is a region with serpentine soils, a habitat known as a serpentine barren. So serpentine barrens are ecological communities that develop on soils derived from serpentinite rock. So this is soil that is rich in heavy metals like nickel, chromium, and cobalt. But heavy metals are toxic to many plants. And so serpentine barrens often have sparse vegetation, low-lying plant growth, and pretty specialized species that are adapted to the particular challenges of these metallic soils. The landscape is very rocky, with stretches of low-growing grassland meadow, patches of small shrubs and scattered trees, all against the backdrop of these very steep slopes of these limestone mountains. And then into this severity, of course, is the delight of a field of red and yellow wild tulips. This region has hot, dry summers and cold winters. Summer temperatures can reach highs in the upper 80s, while winter temperatures can plummet all the way down into the single digits. Annual rainfall is low to moderate, averaging around 40 inches, but the rainfall is concentrated in the spring and fall. The Albanian tulip shares its home with downy oak, beech tree, gray wolf, golden eagle, Balkan lynx, woodpecker, serpentine fescue, juniper, fire salamander, Alyssa morale, European hare, roe deer, Bosnian pine, Egyptian vulture, Balkan wall lizard, wild boar, brown bear, grass snake, rock partridge, and many, many more. Historically, the Albanian tulip population and its habitat were profoundly reduced by a major infrastructure project. The Fierza Reservoir, which dammed the Drin River, flooded a substantive area of the tulip's habitat and divided its population across the reservoir. Today, the remaining population of Albanian tulip are threatened by industrial mining. So open pit chromite mining strips the serpentine barrens where the tulip grows, leading to loss, obviously, of individuals, but also habitat loss and population fragmentation. These mining activities also generate dust and pollution, which impacts soil and water quality, further degrading the tulip's habitat. Researchers have also observed some grazing pressure by sheep and goat, although this overgrazing is considered a minor risk compared to the mining. And human-induced climate change is a forthcoming threat. Climate change is expected to bring shifts in temperature, precipitation patterns, and extreme weather events, which will impact the Albanian tulip and its already threatened specialized habitat. Recent conservation work includes the legal protection of the Albanian tulip by the Albanian government, population monitoring, seed collection, and on-site and off-site propagation programs are all in place. And then in March 2023, the Albanian tulip's habitat near Soroy was named a national monument, granting it more strict protections. Nevertheless, the Albanian tulip has been considered critically endangered on the IUCN Red List since 2018, and their population is currently in decline. Recent counts estimate that less than 260 Albanian tulip remain in the wild. Information for today's show about the Albanian tulip was compiled from Phytologia Balkanica, Volume 26, Number 3, Physiology and Molecular Biology of Plants, Volume 24, Phyton, Volume 54, the Critical Ecosystem Partnership Fund, the IUCN, Phasia Journal of Botany, Volume 28, Phytotaxa, Volume 10, Number 28, and from Wikipedia. And so in a moment, I would like to perform some music. I don't want to think of this music as like I'm putting meaning upon or extracting meaning from the Albanian tulip. Instead, this is a moment to consider my own human relationship here in the Anthropocene to other life. And so I will sit in the space of sound and contemplation, and I warmly invite you to join me. I honor the life force of the Albanian tulip. I am committed to holding its human name in my record. I am so grateful to have shared a time on our planet with this gorgeous being. I lament the ways in which I and my species have harmed and diminished this species. I grieve. And so in the name of the Albanian tulip, I pledge to reduce my consumption, reduce my carbon footprint, and reduce my wastefulness. I pledge to acknowledge and attempt to address the costs of my actions and inactions, and I pledge to resist the harm of any plant or animal kin and their habitat by individuals, corporations, and governments. I forever pledge my song to the witness and memory of all life, to a broad celebration of biodiversity, and to the total liberation of all beings. This has been Bad at Goodbyes. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let's take care of each other and all of our kin. Goodbye.